Imagine if the presidential race was actually a running race. We'd have a black president forever. That's it for the one-liners. Everyone give Adam a hand. So one of the other things that I'm not gifted at is mechanical endeavors. I'm really not gifted at mechanical endeavors. Like the air hose. You guys ever go to fill up your car tire with air? I never can get that concept because I fill in all my quarters and then I end up spending half the time fighting with the cord. And you sit there and you're moving it around, you're holding it up, and before you know it, you look like you're rhythmic dancing. You're over there like... Or car vacuums. Does anyone else have problems with car vacuums like I do? I have so much problems with car vacuums because I put my $1.25 in there and then I rush around trying to clean up the car vacuum. And then suddenly my car's clean and I have all this time on my hands. So then I'm standing there. I'm not gifted at car vacuums. One of the other things I'm not gifted at is sports. A few years ago, my mom wanted me to run a half marathon with her. I said yeah because it was in Vegas and I wanted to go to Vegas. But then I found myself about 3 days before the race with zero training, needing shoes. So I walked into one of those shoe stores. Have you guys ever gone to one of those sports emporiums lately? They're ridiculous. I walk in to get a freaking pair of shoes and this guy comes up, some failed high school athlete in super short shorts. He's like, "Hi, how are you?" "Hi." And I'm just like, "Oh yeah, man, I'm just here to get some sneakers." And then he goes off on this tangent of things I don't even know what he's talking about. He's like, "Oh, are you looking for cross-trainer sneakers, running shoes, boots?" So then I didn't want to look like an idiot, so I just started making stuff up and adding thon at the end of it. "Oh yeah, I've got a couple of telethons coming up, triathlon, got tons of mathathons coming up. I need some shoes." And then he wanted me to get on a treadmill and start running. Who does that? No. Michael Phelps doesn't go to the Speedo Emporium, try on a pair of Speedos and say, "Let me try these out." You don't do that with any product. It was so weird. To give him credit, I did walk out with a nice pair of shoes, the ones I freaking walked in with. Formula One racing, though, I really like sports, and I like watching Formula One racing because it makes no sense at all. Formula One racing is probably the only sport where they have a practice race before the actual race. Imagine if they did that in the Olympics. A guy runs a full marathon, comes up after running 26 miles, he's like, oh my God. Ready, set, go! Oh, Jesus, are you kidding me? But everyone watches Formula One racing for the same thing, the car crashes, because they're awesome. Every time a car crashes on Formula One racing, the tires just go crazy. It's like they're trying to make a run for it, like, nobody's watching us, everyone's watching the car, come on! Well, they go up there and they start mingling around with the crowd, like, "Hey, how you guys doing? I'm just a tire." But the thing, of course, the tires would fall off, because the mechanics spend absolutely no time fixing it. You ever see it? They pull in there like, "All right, get out of here." How would you treat that if you pulled into Oil Alley and they did that to you? "All right, you're done." You haven't done anything yet. "Yeah, we did. We changed all the tires, changed out the fuel line, the gas line, and changed your oil." "Oh yeah? Well, I just paid. You want to see me do it again?" I think that car racers have a problem with alcohol. Not drinking it, spilling it. Every time after a race, they're always over there like, "Yeah!" What if they had that problem carry over into other things? They're sitting there having tea with their grandma, and their grandma's like, "I brought you some tea, sonny." "Thanks, Grandma, I hate myself." Or they're sitting there at the urinal, and they're going, and this guy walks up, he's like, "Hey man, good race." "I can't be controlled!" The one sport that I have a lot of problem understanding is golfers. Golfers, keep your clubs down, not all of you. But I've got this guy at work that every time he talks about golfing, or every time we're having a conversation, he starts fake golfing. We're sitting there talking, I was like, "Oh yeah, did you get those reports?" He's like, yeah, I got the reports. They were fantastic." Could you imagine if people did that for other sports? You know, you go up there and you're like, "Hey, Mr. McGrady, I was wondering what you thought of my report." And he just starts acting like he's skiing. "Report was fantastic, son. It was great. I loved it. I read the opener sentence and it was fine." Or wrestling. That'd be a really weird one. "Hey, Paul, you want to go to lunch?" Yeah, I'm free for lunch tomorrow, but wanna go to Freddy's? Paintballing is not for me. Every one of my friends gets really into paintballing. They're like, oh, it's a combat sport. It's a combat sport. Yeah, it's a combat sport with freaking decorating material. How tough is that? That's like running up to someone and wallpapering them. Ha! Oh, hang on, I don't have the pattern quite right. Ha! Paintballing's not for me, though. I'm married. See, if I try to go paintballing, I'd end up having my wife out there holding up a bunch of swatches going, don't hit him with that, hit him with Tuscan Sunset. Probably the best sport to watch is soccer. Because every time you watch soccer, there's always the goalie who picks up the ball, and he's like that angry guy that grew up in your street. Every time you kick the ball into his yard, he picks it up, he's like, yeah? You want the ball? You want the ball? What did I tell you about playing on this end, huh? Take it over to your end! The thing that I don't understand about soccer is whenever they fake their injuries to try and get points, they're like, oh, ow, sorry. What if the refs did that? Like, people are up in their face, they're like, hey, man, F you, and he's like, ow. I think everyone would stop faking injuries if we treated professional sports like we treat horse people. Every time they're injured, bang! Horse injuries, horse races is probably the only sport where they don't fake injuries. They fake being healthy. No, I'm fine, man. I got 3 good legs. But throughout life, I realized maybe I'm not gifted at scholastic endeavors. Maybe air hoses and sports trip me up along the way. But guys, no matter if you're short or small, everyone's gifted at something. Go out there, find what you're gifted in, and don't forget to keep laughing. Have a great night, guys.